All right, welcome everybody. My name is Natalia Manger, admissions counselor here at Stockton University, welcoming you to our beautiful spring campus and the session for accepted students. So you've been accepted. What do you do now? I am joined today by my colleague, Tracy Lisk, who is also an admissions counselor here. Tracy.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Natalia said, I also work in admissions. I've been in admissions for over a decade. I've been at Stockton for almost a decade. So welcome. I know that we have some great information prepared, and we have three of our wonderful student ambassadors with us. And then at the end of this presentation, there will also be the opportunity to use the Q&A feature to ask your own personal questions. So if we don't cover something that you have questions about and you're wondering about, definitely feel free to drop it into the Q&A feature, and our ambassadors will be helping kind of, go through those questions. But without further ado, I do want to turn it over to our three wonderful ambassadors. I'll start with Caitlin to introduce herself.
Hello everybody, my name is Caitlin and I am a junior here at Stockton and I'm in the dual degree physician assistant program. So my major is health science and I have a minor in holistic health. And other than that, I am an admission ambassador and I love to share my story about Stockton. I'll hand it over to Jaslyn.
Hi everyone. I just want to say congratulations on being accepted at Stockton, which is amazing. Another thing, my name is Jaslyn. I am also a junior here at Stockton University. My major is criminal justice with a concentration in forensic investigation. And also I have a minor in victimology and victim services, as well as being a missions ambassador. I'm also a mentor for our Goals Care program here at Stockton. I'm going to pass it on to Danielle.
Hey everyone, my name is Danielle. And I'm also a junior here at Stockton. I have a double major in marine and environmental science and a minor in biology. So we're very busy. But aside from being an admissions ambassador, I'm also involved in our fisheries and aquaculture clubs. And yeah, just a big congratulations to you guys for getting this far. And we're going to help you get those next steps so that we can get you here on campus in the fall.
So everybody introduce themselves. Let's get started right away and get right into our session. So first and foremost, what is the most important thing you need to do now? You have been accepted. You've received your acceptance decision. Please take a look at your acceptance packet and read very carefully your acceptance letter. Is your letter conditional? Do you have to do anything to complete your acceptance? Or is it final and you don't need to do anything? If the letter is conditional, please make sure to submit to us any of your SAT scores or ACT scores, or start arranging for your
As you can see, we apologize. We are experiencing a few technical difficulties in the world of Zoom. I'm just going to turn it over to our ambassadors and maybe they can share a little bit more about their Stockton story. I know Caitlin said that she loves to talk about her Stockton story, so I'm going to kind of throw the ball in her court as we work through a few of these little technical glitches and get the presentation up and running. So Caitlin, take it away.
Of course. So I always like to put it out there that, when I was a senior in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, didn't really know where I wanted to go. But like, as soon as I stepped foot on Stockton's campus, I knew that this place felt like home. And I still after I left, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Like everything was still kind of a big mix up. But once I had applied to all my schools and gotten all my decisions back, at the end of the day, I looked at the financial layout and how far away the schools were and everything like that. I live in North Jersey, so Stockton was about 2 hours from my house, which for me, that was like the perfect amount of distance from home. Like you could still have visitors, but no one could just pop in without letting you know that they were coming beforehand. Although I love my family, and when they came down to visit me, it made my weekend. But after laying out and looking at everything, Stockton's pricing was great. We offer amazing scholarships and aid and all that kind of stuff, which we will get more into later when we talk about the FAFSA and all that kind of good stuff with after being accepted, what do you do now? But yeah, Stockton to me just feels like it feels like a home away from home. Our campus, I like to say that we have got like a medium school right now. So we're a small school that's getting bigger. We have a lot of students, we're getting more, but we still have that small school mentality, which I think is what makes it feel so homey, is because you walk from like one place to another on campus and you'll probably see 3 or 4 or 5 people that you know. And every time you walk past them, you'll just wave at them. Or even if you don't know them, by the end of the semester, you will get to know them only because you pass each other so many times. And I think that's so funny, like making those friends just because you walk past them all the time and you'll like wave to them. It's so funny. But yeah, that's pretty much why I fell in love with Stockton, is because it's got that like just homey feeling. And I hope you guys get to visit campus one day and experience it yourself.
Okay, thank you, Caitlin. So everyone should be seeing my screen, hopefully. So kind of going back into what Natalia started talking about a few moments ago before the technical issues. So being accepted is kind of the biggest hurdle to get over and to, you know, really jump over in the whole college admissions process. So congratulations on that. You guys can all kind of take a deep breath, because now it's just, I compare it to a snowball rolling downhill. You know, you've pushed it, you've pushed the rock, you've pushed the snowball up to the top of the mountain, and now it's over the peak and it's just going to start rolling, but things are going to go very fast. Your, graduation is going to be here before you know it. And then it's going to be summer, and then you're going to be moving in or coming onto campus for class. So first of all, one, you do want to carefully review your acceptance letter and your acceptance packet. Is it a kind of what we call a final acceptance letter, which means that you are basically into Stockton, into the major that you applied into. There are no conditions, there are no additional steps needed for you to get into kind of everything that you want. If your letter is what we call conditional, you'll have a much longer acceptance letter. So your acceptance letter will be probably about 2 pages. It will say, congratulations, you are accepted into Stockton, but you may not be accepted into the major in which you chose for specific reasons. The number one is math readiness. So if you didn't meet a specific math requirement, if you applied into a science major or a math major, engineering, computer science, health sciences, these are all programs that may result in you having to kind of take a second step in order to get directly into those programs. So, one would be submitting test scores if you didn't previously submit test scores. Another, if you didn't have the opportunity to take the SATs or ACTs, we know with COVID, it wasn't as accessible as in previous years. You could always come to campus and do an AccuPlacer, which is a math placement testing. Or you can even have the opportunity to do that online. So we do offer the opportunity for students who don't feel comfortable coming to campus yet to take the AccuPlacer online. So we'll get into a little bit more of that kind of, as we go on and as we're talking about specific situations. But I do want to toss it over to Natalia for step 2.
All right, thank you so much. So as Tracy has stated, very, very carefully review what you have been awarded and in terms of your admissions letter and move forward. If you have not yet seen the beautiful campus, please do feel free to schedule your next tour. You can tour either Galloway or Atlantic City campus, or if you want to maximize the use of your visit time in South Jersey, schedule one right after the other. Maybe go out to lunch or dinner in Atlantic City, view the beautiful beaches, enjoy the weather. A lot of families are doing just that right now. We have hosted 28 families over the Saturday tour this past Saturday, which I happen to have worked. Beautiful weather, very happy, excited faces. Some students have been already accepted, others are still applying, so do feel free to visit us. If you have made your decision and you're very happy and super excited to attend Stockton, do pay your acceptance deposit, because that acceptance deposit will generate your invitation to the orientation where you will register. If you are not able to pay your acceptance deposit for any reason whatsoever, please do submit a request for a waiver, and we will show you how to do that in a little bit. Once you have done all of those things, or even in between, do familiarize yourself with your Stockton University student portal. It is a place where anything and everything that has to do with your student curricular and co-curricular life will live. That is where you will register for classes. You will be able to see what marks you have received for specific courses that you're registered into, what your GPA is, to look up classes that will be offered in the following semester, renew your housing, access your email, access your library resources, access your online classroom and your Zoom links as well. Anything and everything that has to do with your academic and co-curricular life will live in the Go portal, and our wonderful admissions ambassadors will guide you through that process so it doesn't have to be a mystery. Okay, Tracy, do you want to take number 5?
Sure. So once you kind of get to the end of your senior year and you're really wrapping up your high school career, we kind of have to do the same thing on our end. So even though you submit a transcript to us when you apply, you do have to submit your final high school transcript. That serves as proof of graduation. So your final transcript are all of your final grades throughout your senior year, as well as that graduation date that is printed on your transcript. Typically, we'll receive these transcripts like late June, early July, but they should ideally be in before you come for orientation and registration, which is at the beginning of July. If you did any type of AP testing or dual enrollment courses, you would also want to submit that paperwork to us. So AP scores are through College Board. Typically, you can kind of submit those the same way that you submit SAT scores. With the dual enrollment, you would want to get a transcript from whatever the granting institution is. In layman's terms, that means whatever college is behind the credits. So if you're doing, dual enrollment with Ocean County College, you wouldn't go through your high school to get those transcripts. You would typically go through Ocean County College, contact them, say, I need a transcript with my credits. That way we can have all of that in ahead of your registration so that you can ideally have everything counted for before you come for orientation. That way you're not being put into courses that you already received credit for. Another thing to start thinking about as you get closer into summer is your health and immunization requirements. So these forms were included in your acceptance packet. If you, for whatever reason, lost them or misplaced them, you can find them at our health services website. They do have additional copies. These health and immunization requirements ideally should be returned to us by July 1, but definitely no later than the point at which you move in if you're a resident student, or start courses if you're a commuter student or off-campus student. They must be on file, basically by the end of August. And that kind of goes into, if you're living on campus, you hopefully have already started this process because our housing application is up and running. It is on your Go portal. So when Jaslyn in one of the next slides starts going through the portal with you guys, she will be able to kind of give you an idea of where to find that residence life contract, where to find that tab. But if you haven't already started the housing application for fall 2021, definitely get on that because housing is allocated kind of in a first come, first serve, meaning that if you submit your contract and your application and your 150 housing deposit earlier, you're more likely to get your number one choice because we do ask you to kind of list your choices, you know, if you'd want to be in a single dorm or residence hall, if you want to be in, you know, an apartment with some of your friends, you're more likely to get your first choice if you submit all of that documentation earlier. And then last, but certainly not least, is pretty much what we consider the finish line for new students, which is orientation and registration. That is when you actually come to campus. We are planning on having in-person orientation and registration this year, provided that everything continues going well with the whole COVID situation. But basically you come to campus, you sit down with an academic advisor, you register for your first classes, you receive your ID card. It's really the day at which you stop being an accepted student and you start being a Stockton student. So, you know, that is kind of, like I said, the finish line. And then as you work through summer, you can typically start accessing your professor's syllabuses and start seeing what books are required and what materials are required for the courses. So you can even start getting a jump start on ordering your books or renting them. We have a lot of different ways of going about that. So that's kind of all of your next steps in a nutshell, but I will be turning it over to Jaslyn, and she's going to share her screen, and she's actually going to walk you through how to get into your Go portal if you haven't done so already, and how to access some of those screens that I referenced.
Okay. Thank you, Tracy. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So everybody hears Go portal a lot, I'm pretty sure, especially within this session itself. So right on the Stockton website, you're going to see on your right-hand corner a little Go sign. This is probably where you're going to be. Actually, not probably. It's definitely where you're going to be at every single day of your semester and until you graduate, in all honesty. As you can see, it's separated into five parts. It's home, student life, student services, financial aid, and bursar. Our home just basically has some events that are held throughout the semester and everything. Student life itself, over here on our right-hand corner, you would see Osprey Hub. We have over 200 clubs and organizations here on campus. So anything regarding a club that you're interested in or an organization you want to know a little bit more information about, you would go here on Osprey Hub and you're able to just see all of the options that Stockton offers. And then scrolling all the way down, you're going to see your residential application, which is basically where you would apply for housing. I'm going to just press into it really quickly. So right here, as soon as you do your deposit and everything, it's going to be pressing onto the application and room selection. This is where you will see your deposit. That's where you would send in your money. That's where you can look for housing roommates and see and take the housing roommate survey. So basically where you can be compatible to other students and kind of get a feel of who you would like to be your roommate, or you can come into Stockton knowing somebody as well. And also on this page itself, you can also choose your meal plan. So this is very important for our students that are deciding to reside and are deciding to have a meal plan as well. And even if you're a commuter like me, you're able to get a commuter meal plan as well. And you don't have to pay for housing. You could just get a meal plan, which is a separate transaction. Going back to our Go portal. And as you can see, we have like apply for social justice and equity fund. And then we have COVID-19 updates, obviously, because we're going through everything. So we're always kept to date with everything that's happening at Stockton, with all the information that's happening at Stockton as well.
Aslan, while you're on the student life, can you scroll down a little bit? Okay, down to where you see the little globe, the picture of the world. Yep. For those of you who want to study abroad, this is where you will go and click on the study abroad link. It will bring you to the study abroad website. So once the COVID restrictions lift and you are ready to travel abroad for credit, that is where you will go.
And then moving on to our student services, this is where most of your class information is held at. So you will see a bunch of tabs open that say my pre-registration time. Every single student here at Stockton is given a certain pre-registration time for classes. So you're given a date and you're given a time, and that will be right here, located right here. Your course registration is where you would sign up for your classes, where you register for classes or see what classes are available and everything throughout the semesters. This is where you see your schedule. And then your favorite and your most important tool here at Stockton, I would say, is your degree works, which I'm actually going to open up. This is mine, as you can see. So you definitely see all of your type of information. You would see your all the credits that you've earned, the credits that are in progress, as well as it'll show your requirements, like how much percentage more you would need in order to graduate on time, and also the percentage of credits you actually have. And then since Stockton is a liberal arts school, there are certain attributes you actually have to take other than your major. So as you could see, this is a bunch of all of the classes I'm taking, I'm taking at this moment. So these are all of my credits for my major itself, and it's right here, and it shows you each class that you're supposed to take. And so it's easy for you to look during your course registration. And then moving on, since Stockton is a liberal arts school, other than your major, you are mandated to take other classes, which are pretty interesting. Like, as you could see, I took a cultural stereotypes and media. You could take classes whatever you like. I know there's a class on history of ice cream, and there's even more classes like that you're able to take that are fun. I like my general studies classes because it kind of brought me to my minor, which is amazing. We have your general studies attributes like arts, historical consciousness. Yes, I took a beginning modern dance class, I did, but it was amazing. And upper level writing, my quantitative reasoning, and then basically all the classes I would have to take for my minor. And that's basically what consists of your degree works. This is kind of your best friend throughout your whole college career. It'll show you where you need to go, what classes you need to take, how many classes more you would need to take in order to graduate. So that's what your degree works would look like. Obviously, if you're not a criminal justice major, it will look different. And then the next two pinpoints are your financial aid. This is where you see your financial aid package. Right here, you would click right here, and then you would see all the financial aid that's given to you from Stockton, like your grants. Your grants. It would be your grants. Let's say if you take out any loans from Stockton itself, that would be there as well. And then bursar is your bill. And your bill would consist of what's left to pay off after you get like your financial aid package and all of that type of stuff, which actually we will be talking about financial aid and bursar next. So this is a little kind of spiel of what your goal portal will look like, and as well as you do get your Blackboard on your right-hand corner, your Zoom. This is your email, and so you can have access right to your Blackboard, your Zoom, your email right within your goal portal.
Jaslyn, could you tell our visitors how they can get a hold of their login information for their Go portal?
Yes, of course. So usually within itself, I believe during your acceptance packet, you're supposed to receive your username within your acceptance packet. So I know my username is my last name, and then it's my first initial of my first name, and then there's a 1. Some people don't have a number, some people do. It all depends. So definitely just be on the lookout for that, and then you're able to obviously choose your password and go on to the Discover Stockton account right there and make your account really easily.
All right, Danielle, would you like to take over and guide us through the financial aid and bursar side?
Of course. All right. So I have a presentation for you guys and share that. And so let's start talking about some of the stuff that I find the most confusing when I started my college journey. And that is the financial aid and bursars and what the difference is, what it means, and all that good stuff. And so in the meantime, as we're going through all those other steps, we can start planning our finances. And so when it comes to financial aid, we have our FAFSA tools available. And so everything is going to be on our financial aid webpage, which if you have trouble navigating the website or anything, the easiest way is to type in the search bar financial aid, and that'll bring you right to this page here. And so the first thing to click on is how to apply for financial aid. And so we have it broken down into 7 easy steps for you guys. So what the financial aid is completing the FAFSA form, and that is based off of the income taxes of you and your parent or guardian and for the past year, and that kind of breaks down whether you get any grants or how much your loans can be and things like that. So your step 1 is to go on to the FAFSA website. You're going to create your FSA ID, and then you're going to go and complete the FAFSA, view your eligibility. Then you're going to get back your financial aid offer. You're going to go back and review that. When you accept or decline your offer, that's what you do in the financial aid tab that Jazzy was showing you in your Go portal. And then if you take any loans, you would complete any requirements for that if you are taking them. And then the last step would be to pay any outstanding balances that you might have, apply for any additional scholarships and everything so that we can get your bill completely settled and you're ready for, classes and everything like that. And so when it comes to financial aid, there's different sources. So whether you're an undergraduate or graduate, that is going to be a little bit different. So we can go through those. And then we have our awesome scholarship resource center as well. So for our first time freshmen, we have this wonderful Pepsi scholarship program. We'll be giving out 30 $2,500 scholarships for our first time freshmen, which is really awesome. And so you can apply for that there. Once you have your, established GPA here at Stockton after your first semester, we have our foundation scholarships that you can apply for. We have our diversity scholarships. And then we do list some external scholarships, that don't come directly from Stockton, but are still really awesome and worth applying for. Now, let's say you submit your FAFSA, you get your financial aid package, and something happens at home, with COVID, a lot of people had some layoffs or, change of income and things like that. And so your taxes might show last year where everyone was good to go. And so if something like that happens, we have our financial appeals that you can fill out, which are here. You can learn more about them and get the forms in order to make the appeal there. In that case, you submit the appeal and we will go back and look at everything again and present you with possibly a different financial aid package. And so in order to go through this process, if we're stuck on any step, we do have all of our instructional videos here. So how to view and accept, how to look at your bill, how to make a loan change. Say you don't need a loan for this year, but you did last year or midway through the semester, something like that. And so we do have our instructional videos there. And if we ever had any questions about financial aid, our office is open. You have to complete our health pledge, but it is open 8:30 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday if anyone wanted to stop by or if you wanted to go up after a tour or something. If not, we do have the phone number here for you guys to reach out. Again, those same hours, they're more than willing. You can also schedule a call if you have a lot more questions, and something a bit more personal that you might need to talk about. We can schedule there as well. So our financial aid office is really here to help you guys through this process. Like I said, when I first started, I was completely, what was bills, what was loans, what was everything. And they were really awesome to help you through that. Now, the second part.
Danielle,
Yes.
sorry, I just wanted to jump in really quickly. Two important things. One that actually popped up in the chat. So one thing is scholarships. So if your student was awarded a merit scholarship at the time of admission, that merit scholarship is renewable for up to 4 years or 128 credits, whichever one kind of comes first for your child, for your student. Now, that amount is pretty much locked in for those 4 years. So if the student received $4,000, they will ideally receive $4,000 each of the 4 years that they're with us. So that's separate from any need-based aid, anything that's determined by your FAFSA, by your financial aid forms. The only contingencies for scholarship renewal are that the student must basically maintain a 3.0 Stockton GPA, and they must continue to file the FAFSA each year that they're with Stockton. The other thing that I did want to briefly touch on is the sources of aid, in that when you are looking to accept or decline your financial aid or any component of that, the only part of your financial aid offer that you do kind of have the option of accepting or declining are loans. So since grants are pretty much free money, whether it's from the federal government, whether it's from the state, most people, we're assuming, wouldn't want to decline free money. So we just accept those on your behalf. But we understand that not every family wants the loans and may not need them. So you do have the option of not just accepting or declining the loans, but also adjusting the amount. So if we offer you the max amount and you only want to take half of that, you can adjust the loan amount and say that I'm only accepting half of the loan amount. And all of that is done in that financial aid tab of your Go Stockton portal that Jazz was going over earlier. So I'm so sorry, Danny, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go on with Bursar.
No, you're fine. Thank you so much. I didn't see that question in the chat. So super important information. And so we're going to roll into our Bursar tab. And so Bursars is a fancy word for the people who collect the money. And so say we want to start planning, how much our bill is going to be. So we go to our Bursars page. Again, if we're having trouble finding it, right in the search bar, we're going to type Bursars. It'll bring you to the page. Tuition and fees, we do have the list of our undergrad flat rate tuition, which is what most of you guys will be paying. This one was for this year, so that will be updated soon for the fall. And so the best way to see kind of where we're at is to go into our bill estimator here. And so we would be coming in as undergraduates, fall 2021, and then you can select in-state or out-of-state. In-state means that you have lived in New Jersey for the past 12 months and can demonstrate that. If you have not lived in New Jersey for the past 12 months, or we live in another state, anything like that, we're out of state. So that's the distinction there. First time students, we're going to be our freshmen. How many credits? So typically we suggest that everyone takes that 16 credits that you need to graduate each semester on time. And so meal plan, if we live in our dorm housing, we can do the 19 or 14. I'm a big eater, so we'll go with the 19. And then we have our housing option. And so I'm going to pick where I stayed freshman year, which was a housing 2 double. And this button here is if you want a 12-month housing contract. So instead of staying for just the 9 months of the semester, you can make it 12 and stay over the summer as well as over winter break. So that's kind of a decision we get to make with our housing app. If we don't want it, don't check it. If you do, we can always check it there. And so on the right-hand side here, we get our estimate breakdown. And so this will show you all the fees, the transportation fees, you know, that first time orientation fee, how much your meal plan is, how much the housing is. And this is going to be the estimated total that you're going to be responsible for. And then according to any merit-based scholarship, any financial aid, that's not taken into account here. So we subtract all of that out. So let's say, you know, you do that, you get that $4,000 a year scholarship. So we would minus $4,000 and then say, you know, you do get that free money grant from New Jersey, which is super awesome. We can subtract all of that out. And so we can customize this entirely to whatever you're thinking. So if we wanted a single room, we can see, you know, how it would change. If we wanted to be in our 5-person apartment, we can, you know, see the differences here. Do you want a meal plan? Do you want a small meal plan, a big one? Do you not want one at all, you know? And so we can go through there and kind of get that estimate and then, you know, take time to look at our acceptance packet, subtract out any scholarships, any financial aid that we know about, and any outstanding balance that's left there is what you're responsible for paying. And so that's when we can go towards, you know, do we need to take out a loan to pay that? You know, can we pay it up front? Is there even a balance left? You know, things like that. And so the last thing I want to draw your attention to is our important dates here in our Bursars tab. And so it's going to look very similar for fall of 2021. So our bills are going to be viewable starting, you know, early to mid-July. We're going to be able to see those. And then our payment is due for all of our continuing and new undergraduate students early August typically. So at that time, we either set up, you know, a payment plan or we make the payment in full, depending on, you know, anything going on personally. And so about August 4th is when our payments are going to be due for our new undergrad students. And then when it comes time to making your deposits, if we haven't already made our acceptance deposit, we have a video here to show you how. There is several ways to make this deposit. Down here we can see in person, you know, you can always drop it off. By mail, you can mail it in a check or online. And that's going to be through your Go portal. And that's what that video as well as these steps here are going to take you through. And so after, you know, we pay our acceptance deposit, if we're living on campus, we pay our housing deposit, and then we kind of get that breakdown and we sit down and we wait for orientation and, you know, kind of just pay our semester. And you guys are good to be on campus in fall. We are coming back. So we're super excited, you know, to welcome everyone who would like to come to campus.
Okay, and that's actually a perfect segue, Danny, into answering one of the questions that was put into the Q&A a little bit earlier, which is about orientation and do we have any set dates for that yet? So we are still working through some of our plans for summer orientation, largely due to the ever-evolving COVID situation. So we are offering several different modalities in terms of orientation, and you all accepted and deposited students will be sent an email later this spring. Hopefully we're aiming for like early to mid-April to get that email out, where you will actually have the opportunity to kind of pick what type of orientation experience you want. So we are looking to offer an overnight orientation experience that will be fully socially distanced. You'll be in a room by yourself. You'll participate in activities in groups smaller than 10. So we really are taking every safety protocol into consideration, but we do also think that it's very important for students that may have not been able to come to campus otherwise to really get a taste of Stockton and be able to stay in a residence hall and interact with your fellow classmates prior to coming to campus in August for your first day of class or for move-in. And then we are offering a one-day in-person orientation for students that may not be looking to live on campus or may just have other obligations that prevent them from being able to do an overnight. So that would be a one day. And then lastly, we are offering limited virtual orientations, but those are going to really only be offered to students that have existing conditions or reasons for why they can't come onto campus at all for like a one-day registration. Just because going back to what we mentioned earlier, Stockton is looking to open normal campus operations come fall 2021. So we are looking to have 70% of our classes at least in person, as well as, almost full capacity in our housing units. So we really are hoping to, get that ball rolling earlier and get students and families onto campus for orientation in the summer. That's the long answer. The short answer is it's going to basically be between the last week in June and the second week in July, which are going to be all of the dates for freshman orientation and registration. As I said, we don't have the exact specifics yet, but they will be rolling out shortly. Hopefully by the middle of April, you'll be getting that information to your personal email account that's on file. Let's see. One of the other questions that popped up in the Q&A is, will there be an admitted students day? And if so, is there a date? Unfortunately, given the COVID situation this year, we are not planning an in-person admitted students day at this time. Usually our admitted students day is, funny enough, right around right now, end of March, beginning of April. And given the state regulations at this point, we just didn't feel that it was, we weren't able to really roll out a admitted students program that would be robust and rewarding for students, and also keeping safety in mind. So we're doing our virtual open house week this week, which has several admitted student sessions, this one being kind of the main one. And I think Danny and Jazz both have something to say, so I'm going to turn it over to them for right now.
Danny, do you want to say it or do you want me to say it? Okay, so I do want to mention that we are having a mix and mingle Taste of Stockton's, yeah, a student admitted students event on March 26th, was actually this Friday, and it's at 7 p.m. So all admitted students are able to go there and kind of mingle with other admitted students. Maybe you'll find your future roommate there. Maybe you'll find your future best friend at college there. So I definitely recommend for you guys to register for that event. It is on our stockton.edu website. You're able to register for the event if you go to the search bar at the right-hand corner and just click open and search open house right at the bottom, you could look for the event and register for it right then and there. So maybe if I have time, I might send it in the chat, but definitely I recommend going to that and kind of getting a feel of other students that are admitted as well to Stockton.
Thank you, Jazz. One other question that popped up regarding orientation is, will there be a cost involved for the overnight orientation? And the answer is absolutely not. It will be a free of charge program. We really do just want you to kind of come onto campus, experience it, really just get a feel of what it is to be a Stockton student before you're officially a Stockton student. And just to kind of touch upon some of the questions that were in the chat that have been answered, but I just kind of want to quickly run over them just for anyone who may not be reading the chat. So are all freshmen required to live on campus? No, there's no residency requirements. Every student, including freshmen, have the option of living off campus, commuting from home, or living on campus. And then there were a few questions about merit scholarships. So merit scholarships are never contingent on your residency status unless you're specifically receiving an out-of-state or an international student scholarship. In those cases, then you do have to maintain residency either out of state or maintain the international status to continue to receive those awards. But any of our general merit scholarships are not contingent on location. So those out-of-state international awards are always supplementary to our main merit scholarships. So you don't have to worry about living on campus or off campus or anything like that. And when will you register for classes? That is during orientation. So when you actually, come for orientation, whether you choose the overnight option or the one-day option, you'll still be registering for classes with an advisor. Let's see. Can freshmen have cars on campus? The answer is yes. So all students are allowed to have a car on campus all year. Really, the only big difference between resident students and commuter students is where you park. So resident students will have allocated parking lots that are closer to their residence halls or their apartments, and they will not be able to park in commuter lots during kind of the school day. So the school day is pretty much like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you happen to take evening classes, then it's kind of no holds bar. Then you can park in any of the parking lots. But during the height of classes, you will have to park in a residential parking lot. And then commuter students obviously have the commuter parking lots. And then we also have our shuttle service. So if you live on campus and let's say you're in the apartments and you're a little bit further from the academic buildings, if it's bad weather, maybe you just woke up late one night, whatever, we do have our Stockton shuttle service, which is completely free to all students, air conditioned, Wi-Fi. It's a pretty smooth ride. And you can hop on that right outside your apartment, take the little loop, get dropped off right in front of the campus center. And like I said, that's free of charge. So, that's open to all students, residential, commuter, and everybody. Let's see. I'm just kind of reading through some of the questions. Do we have any other questions that anyone else wants to tackle that maybe I didn't see?
So we have some questions coming in about students who are already committed, but they're looking for additional information about their financial aid. Please do feel free to schedule an appointment to speak with financial aid, or you can also just call them up and just say, hey, here's my Z number. Please always refer to your student number. It is like your social security number here at the university. Memorize it. Drive it into the soft tissues of your brain. Everything that will be asked of you as a student will be attached to your student ID. I still remember mine, although I was a student at Stockton very, very long time ago. So the financial aid office is available 8:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and they will be attending Saturday campus tours as well, having a representative present also. There are some questions coming in about students who have already paid their acceptance deposit for housing or their housing reservation deposit, but are having a change of heart, you will never be charged a cancellation fee, the $500 cancellation fee for housing, but it is important to remember that your housing deposit is non-refundable. So you will not have to be charged the $500 fee, but the $150 stays with the university because they had to process your application and start working on your placement and things like that. What else? There were some interesting questions coming in about financial aid as well, loans and things like that. It's very, very, very important to remember that the open house is an entire week-long event. So if you have specific questions about financial aid, we have a wonderful financial aid and bursar session happening tomorrow. I've put the information about it right into the chat. It's tomorrow, March 23rd at 4:30, and you are able to register for that session. Please do attend. Bring all of your questions about your FAFSA or your specific package of financial aid, or hey, do I qualify for the Stockton Promise Grant, which was just rolled out? Do attend the session, do ask questions there as well. We in the admissions office will be able to answer basic questions, but not so much specific to where you are and your financial situation. There was another question about registration. So it's very important to remember that you will not be able to register for courses until you react to your acceptance into Stockton. So you've been accepted, but in order for you to be admitted, you have to either pay your acceptance deposit, so you have accepted your placement into the university, or to submit your acceptance waiver. We can guide you through the waiver process right on our website. Actually, I'm afraid of sharing my screen because I'm afraid of being dumped out again. Tracy, could you guide our wonderful visitors through that website?
Yes, I was actually just going to drop our I'm getting tongue-tied at this point of the day, our accepted students website in the chat. Now this is our site that is geared towards all things accepted students. So, you know, if you have a memory like me and you're probably not going to remember a lot of the things that we said, this is kind of the website to go back to. So I am going to share my screen so that you can see what this looks like. So right now you should be seeing my web page that says accepted students. So I'm going to kind of go back to the home page. So when you go to stockton.edu, this is the landing page. You're going to click on the admission, scholarships, and aid. And then you're going to go to freshman admissions. And then there's a spot down here that says for accepted students. If you click on that, it brings you to this page that is completely geared, as I said, to accepted students, and it does walk you through a lot of the things that we discussed. So how to make your enrollment deposit, if you want to do online, by mail, or by waiver. So we understand that a lot of families are in a difficult financial situation due to COVID, due to the ever-changing culture and climate that we're all living in right now. So we don't want the $250 to serve as a hindrance. So any student can complete this online waiver form. So if you click on to this button, it will bring up just a quick form that you can fill out. And it gives you a bunch of different options. If you're an EOF student, you don't have to pay the deposit. It's automatically waived. You would just pick this option right at the bottom. If you're a veteran or a military affiliated student, you would pick the veteran one option. And then there's a whole other list of options. If you don't have a specific option, if like your situation's not listed here, please do just pick the other financial circumstances, and just sign your name, type your full name, press submit, and it's as good as that. That'll waive your $250 deposit. And then, as I said, all of the next steps that we kind of discussed are right down on this page. So, submitting your immunization records, living at Stockton, accepting your financial aid offer, etc. So I know we're getting up to 5:30 and people want to probably hop into other sessions possibly. So I am going to stop my screen share and maybe answer any remaining questions if any other last ones popped up. If not, I think that, we're in a pretty good place, I think. So did any other last minute questions, I guess, is what I'm trying to ask.
There was a question about overnight, I can't speak anymore. There was a question about overnight orientation. Stockton University, to my knowledge, does not offer overnight orientation. You are very welcome to either rent a hotel room or rent a VRBO if you are an international student. If you are an international student who is coming into the university and looking to move in ahead of the orientation, please email the Office of Global Engagement, who will be organizing your move-in, your visa documents, as well as your residential life placement. I will drop the Office of Global Engagement's information into the chat. A wonderful colleague of mine, Yibin Fang, is a gentle soul and will take very, very good care of you. Please do reach out to him with any questions you may have about orientation or course placement if you are an international student.
And just as a point of clarity, with the orientation, the overnight orientation that will be offered in the summer of 2021 is kind of like a new thing. It's a pilot program. It's something that we're really kicking off, and trying to hit the ground running with. It is for students only. So if any parents want to come down, and spend the weekend or, make a long day, a long, little mini vacation of it, parents will be required to have off-campus accommodations that they arrange themselves. But for students who are looking to participate in the overnight orientation, they will be housed on the Stockton campus, and it will be free of charge. There are select groups, as Natalia was referencing, such as international students who are outside of the United States. We will be offering them virtual orientation just because we understand that it's difficult enough coming here from another country, but especially given COVID and the quarantine rules and things like that. International students outside of the US, as well as some select out-of-state students, will also be provided with the option to do virtual registration, because we do understand that, once again, given quarantine rules and things like that, it may not be feasible at the time to come to campus. But we are hoping that we can roll out the overnight in-person orientation and kind of hit the ground running with it. So with all that said, it is exactly 5:30. Oh, go Jaslyn.
Sorry, I just wanted to mention one more thing. I did just post a link for a link to a survey that we would like students to fill out. If you can just take a few minutes to fill it out really quickly. It should be a quick survey. So I believe I just sent it out all panelists and attendees. So if you would fill that out for us, that would be greatly appreciated. And thank you for everyone for coming. And again, congratulations on your acceptance at Stockton.
And as I said, it's almost 5:30 on the dot. So if you have another session to get to, please feel free to hop off. But thank you guys so much for joining us this afternoon. I hope that it was a worthwhile and informational session. And I thank Danielle and Jaslyn for always being our wonderful student ambassadors, being the best faces of Stockton, as well as my colleague Natalia. And on behalf of everybody at Stockton Admissions and Enrollment Management, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for your time. Good night.